All right, guys, welcome to Chapter 10 Final Exam Review Notes. So Chapter 10 was way back in January, so I want to do a little review video for you. So Chapter 10 was about polynomials. So standard form is when you guys rearrange them from highest power down to the lowest power. Okay, so this one has a 3, this one has a 1, and this one has a 2. So we want those terms to go in that order. So the 6d to the third comes first, the 2d squared comes second, and the minus d to the 1 comes last. Okay, so that's standard form. The vocab word degree means the highest power. The leading coefficient is the first number once it's in standard form. So the 6. And classification would mean if there's 3 terms, it's a trinomial. If there's 2 terms, it's a binomial. And if there's 1 term, it's a monomial. Okay, and then we did adding and subtracting polynomials. And the trick is you can only add like terms. Okay, so 3x squared plus 2x squared is 5x squared. X plus 2x is 3x. And negative 4 plus negative 3 is negative 7. All right, so that's adding like terms. Now, subtracting like terms is a little harder because you have to remember to distribute the negative sign first. So now, really, I'm going to rewrite it. It's 10b squared minus 3b plus 2, and then it's minus 4b squared, and it's minus 5b, and it's minus 1. So be careful. You got to remember to distribute that minus sign. And now, 10b squared minus 4b squared is 6b squared. Negative 3b minus 5b is negative 8b. And 2 minus 1 is 1. All right, so same idea, but subtracting. Okay, then we got into multiplying. So find the product. And this is just where you guys distribute. Now, when you distribute a polynomial, you multiply, but you add the powers. So this one's negative 6a8. And then you multiply positive 12a4, because you add the powers, and then negative 15, and then there's still just the a to the third. Okay, so multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, if there's anything to add. Done. Now, number 2, when there's a binomial, you need to double distribute. So let's start with the 2x. 2x times 1x is 2x squared. 2x times 7 is 14x. But then you have to do the same thing with the negative 3. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. And then you always look and see if there's any like terms. And these guys in the middle are like terms. So we got to add those together. So final answer, 2x squared plus 11x minus 21. All right, and then one more that's very similar. Do you guys remember what to do when it says something squared? It means you have to write it twice and multiply it by itself. Exactly the same thing, but you write it twice. All right, 4b times 4b is 16b squared. 4b times negative 6 is negative 24b. But then, remember, we got to do it again with the negative 6 now. Negative 6 times 4b is negative 24b. And negative 6 times negative 6 is plus 36. And then add like terms in the middle, and you're done. So it's 16b squared minus 48b plus 36. And that's your answer. Okay, so we just went over vocab, adding, subtracting, and multiplying. The last thing from chapter 10 was factoring. But the good news is we just did factoring in this chapter, so it should be kind of fresh. All right, factoring out the GCF. What do 5 and 10 both divide by? Hopefully you guys are saying 5. And then you can only take out a variable if they both have it. So see how they both have Q's? You can only take out the smaller power, so Q1. We cannot take out any P's because this one doesn't have any. And now you draw a parenthesis for the GCF and you actually divide it out. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. There's still 2 P's, but no more Q's because 1 minus 1 is 0. All right, plus 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then 3 minus 1, there'd be 2 Q's left. So that's dividing out the GCF. Done. All right, number 2, when it's a trinomial, remember we did the MA table. We got to find two numbers that add to 8 but multiply to 7. All right, so what are those two numbers? Multiplies to 7, adds to 8. It's going to be 7 and 1. So when you factor, we know it's got to be x and x, and then it's going to be plus 7 and plus 1. That's it. Okay, and then number 3, difference of squares. This is the one where you guys square root. So the square root of s squared is s and s. The square root of 64 is 8 and 8. And then 1's plus and 1's minus. And that's it. Okay, so those are the 3 types of factoring. You guys will notice in the multiple choice that sometimes it's a combination of them, but I'll help you if you get stuck there. All right, nice job, guys. That was our first chapter 10.